Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Broken Sword for the Angel of Death. Now, it has come to me, as I was thinking about this game, if Nico shows up in this game at all, considering how well Anne-Marie and George have been getting off together, as far as getting along together, as far as personalities, they feel like they are a perfect match. They are written to be a perfect match for each other. So if Nico shows up, even for a second, I'm going to go ahead and claim it now. That means that Anna Maria is going to die. It kind of already, even if she doesn't show up, imply that Anna Maria is going to die at the end of this game, with the Angel of Death and all of that happening anyways. But that doesn't really have much to do with what we're doing right now. And I can't be completely certain because the way the story is going so far, it really hasn't gone anywhere. We still don't have the manuscript. We still don't know what we're supposed to find or do. On top of that, we don't know what the first cutscene with Moses had anything to do with anything.
Excuse me.
Ah, yes, our very own superhero. I'm Officer O'Halloran, and you are?
George Stobbart. 2 B's, 2 T's.
2 B's, 2 T's, got it. So, what do you want, Mr. 2 B's, 2 T's?
Let's ask about the man upstairs.
The guy who locked up the receptionist. You got any idea who he was?
Medium height, dark hair, and a quiff. Looked a bit like Elvis. Could have been anybody. Did you see any distinguishing marks?
Well, there was his tattoo.
I didn't see a tattoo, but apparently she said there was a tattoo of a snake wrapped around a pole. Is that what this?
You know, that guy's tattoo was very unusual.
Surprised me.
It was a snake with massive fangs wrapped around what looked like...
Spit it out, man.
Wrapped around, well, a salami.
A salami, you say?
Yes, a salami, I say.
Well, that explains everything.
Oh, yes?
Oh, yes, a salami means only one thing around here.
And what's that?
It means there's a deli open.
What?
Just kidding. It means the Martino gang. Wait till my boss hears this.
What, he knows the Martinos?
Been after him for years.
He just kind of jumped into his animation of writing on his tablet. I wonder if I sit here, will he actually jump into that animation? I bet he doesn't. Again, not as bad as the previous game, but we have Juanita over here, very subtly moving, just turning her head. Nothing crazy like we saw with Nico in the previous game, where she'd stick her arms up every 30 seconds and stretch, or she'd brush dandruff off her shoulder over and over again. But there is a slight change here. If this officer is moving at all, I can't really tell. It seems like he might be breathing in and out and just slightly rocking to give a natural appearance. This guy in the background, very possibly not doing anything at all, just frozen in place. And George, in the same way, is just kind of breathing in and out, not really doing anything. But that's the kind of subtlety you'd kind of want. If they move at all, it has to just be very subtle things, because you never know how long you're going to stay in a conversation like this. And when they have him actually do something that has to be shown, the animation still is very herky-jerky and just jumps to it. Watch.
What did the men want here?
Looks like they were after something in one of the rooms. The safe was opened and emptied. We're looking into it now.
But I thought you said it was empty.
One more wisecrack and you'll be taking a prison shower tonight.
Ouch.
So he's writing something down, as if there was some information he was just given.
So
And he
what
doesn't
happens
even
next?
look down when he
We
writes.
put out an APB on the suspect. Then we investigate the illegal use of the fire alarm.
Fire alarm? What happened?
Some idiot, that's 1D and 1T, set off the fire alarm. Wantonly setting off a fire alarm in the city of New York carries a custodial sentence.
Huh. What imbecile would do a thing like that?
Seriously? So, minimum
Thanks for your help.
sentencing for setting off a fire alarm? Apparently.
Hello, Alfonso.
Yeah.
So, let's just talk to him about everything now.
So what happened to Mr. Minster?
He panicked and ran off when it all blew up. Didn't even pay, the freeloading son of a...
Where did he go?
Who knows? He just kept shouting, "The geese! The geese!" Last I saw, he was heading for the city.
We may bump into him later.
So are you glad you got your receptionist back?
Lazy, good for nothing. She's lucky she still got a job.
But it wasn't her fault she was attacked.
If I didn't have all this paperwork, she'd be out on her ear.
So did your clock survive all the commotion?
Yeah. Never did find any beetles on it, though. Ain't that funny?
They must have jumped ship when they saw you coming.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they were never there. What do you think?
I think that's an interesting hypothesis.
Can I book a
So
hotel
how's
room?
business, Alfonso?
You trying to be funny? What with the fumigation and the fire scare, I'll be lucky if I ever reopen.
But you must be insured.
That's not the point. This place was in tip-top shape. Getting it back to how it was is gonna take me years.
Years of neglect, maybe.
So
Thanks
nothing
for your
there.
help.
So, the reason I came here was to see if the cigarettes
Using that won't work.
would give us any information.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You ever seen this brand before?
Where'd you get 'em?
Oh, someone left them where I work at a bail bond agency.
Yeah, figures. That's just the kind of place you'd find black market cigarettes.
Black market?
That's right. Illegal. They're coming into the city by boat somehow. All courtesy of your friends the Martinos.
Hey, they're not my friends.
I believe you. The Martinos only have friends in high places.
So did we find enough information?
Using that won't work.
So before we leave and go back to a new location or the previous location, let's call the bail bondsman and see if it works.
I can't get a signal.
I guess the game didn't want me to do that. And I don't have the key card, so it's worth mentioning I can't go back in here. And I don't think there's anything else here. So we're gonna do a lot of traveling back and forth,
Where
I
do I
think.
want to go next?
Very much like the original game, which I haven't been able to show off because the remaster takes a lot of that out of the gameplay. Broken
George.
Sword 1 particular was designed around the idea that you would probably have to wander around a lot. Let's see. Let's talk to him.
Look, Virgil.
Leave me alone, George. I don't want to talk to you right now.
Okay, okay. He sure is taking the loss of his music badly.
Anne-Marie now can talk to him.
That's not such a good idea.
Anne-Marie and the cigarettes?
That's not the right approach.
Let's just talk to Anne-Marie.
Anna Maria, can you spare a moment?
What do you need, George?
Anna Maria, not Anne-Marie. I've been pronouncing it wrong. Alright, so if it's not talking to those people, then who else can I call?
Hi, is that Alfonso's?
Sure is. What do you want?
I'm doing a survey on closets. You ever been trapped in one?
Hey, George, my hero. How you doing?
I'm good, Juanita. Just checking you're still okay. Gotta go, though.
Drop by anytime, George. I owe you big time.
I bet you do. Bye.
So George has also turned into kind of a ladies' man in this story, where really wasn't that effective before.
Ah, 100 watts of top quality audio heaven. Beats paying the rent any day.
So am I pixel hunting again, or like it just doesn't make the most amount of sense. Like, we came back here and we see he's all about his MP3 player. Let's give him every item we can give him.
That won't work here.
The lighter,
That's not the right approach.
the hotel number,
That won't work here.
the cigarettes.
I've got no reason to try that.
Let's look at the
A
cigarettes.
pack of Italian cigarettes I found in the bail bonds after the attack.
The pen
That won't work here.
and this.
Using that won't work.
And then Anne-Marie on this.
That won't work here.
Won't work. And see, it seems almost certainly like we're supposed to get to the docks,
Where do I go next?
find, like, but I don't know where we're at the docks. That's the problem. If I knew the exact location of where these mobsters were stealing the cell phone, the MP3 players, then
Anna Maria, you better stay
I
here.
could
You'll be safe with Virgil.
get a new one for Virgil while also investigating. But it must be, that location must be somewhere
Hi, Juanita.
through conversation here. Nothing new here.
Thanks for your help. Excuse me, Officer O'Halloran.
Yes, Mr. Stobbart.
Ah, there was a docks question.
So the guy who was here is a member of the Martinos?
Correct.
And the cigarettes are being smuggled into the city by boat?
Correct.
So the Martinos have a hangout near the docks?
Correct.
I should play this more often.
They got no factory down on the East River. A legitimate business. Mama Martino's Meatpacking Company. So we can't touch them.
Time for a stroll down to the docks, I think. Thanks for your help.
So I had to run all the way back here just to have that one conversation to then get to the
Where
new
do I want to go
locations.
next?
And it's very possible that this is most, if not the entire game, is these different locations. It's probable that somewhere in the middle will go to some side area. Probably gonna have to go to Egypt at some point. Otherwise, the Angel of Death
Martino's Meatpacking
aspect's not
Company.
gonna make much sense.
The manuscript could be somewhere inside, but I'm gonna have to get in to find out for sure.
He changed his clothes. That was another element of the previous game, is that they spent their entire time in the game in one set of clothing, except for when they went to the Congo, in which they switched to a second set of clothing, and when they did that, they then went back to their first set of clothing. Like, they only have two sets of outfits for the entire trip that must have taken the course of at least a few days. So far, this could have all happened at the same day. That's like photorealistic, almost. That sign, which is kind of cool. When I was doing a little bit of research here, they claimed that in the third game they were trying to go for more of a cartoony feel than a realistic
Without a
feel.
full protective suit, I won't be touching those cans.
But
Without a full protective suit,
honestly
I won't be touching those cans.
wouldn't really buy much into that claim. I
Without a full
imagine
protective suit, I won't be touching those
in
cans.
Broken Sword 3, The Sleeping Dragon, they simply saw how it was turning out and claimed.
Very wise. You never know who's after your salami these days.
And claimed that they intended it. I mean, it's so easy to make that claim. I'm surprised, like, Mass Effect 3 hasn't tried to make that claim yet, is that they intended for the animations to be more exaggerated and cartoony. It wouldn't hold much weight, though, if they tried to make that claim.
Hey, what you think you're doing?
Oh, I thought you might have hidden some more special salamis around here.
Well, I haven't. You understand?
Sure, whatever you say.
Good. I'd hate to have to get serious with you, pal.
So they probably hid the manuscript in a salami somewhere. And this is the old guy that should have seen me at the bail bonds, and so he should recognize me, but maybe not.
The display case is full of salamis.
We get a
I
little
never
bit
knew
of
there were so many
music
different types. I mean,
when
once
we
you've
saw
made
it,
one, why keep inventing more?
And then there's an anti-slip floor mat, which is actually quite an impressive detail to have. So let's just... There's something to pick up over here. It's the bloody butcher smock apron.
Hi there.
Hello, sir. My name is Chico Corella, and I run this shop for Mama Martino's Salami Factory.
And the shop is
We
inside
got
the
a wide
fence
range
of the
salamis
factory.
For your delectation. We
Interesting.
got salami Milano, salami di Felino, salami Ungherese, salami Bresaola. Yeah,
Kind
we
of
got
defeats
so
the
much
purpose of a
salami,
fence
we
if
got
you let
salami coming out our
anybody
ears.
in to go to your store that's
Little
inside the
joke there.
fence.
Maybe sir is looking for something extra special. How about a 28-year-old vintage salami? Made the way Mama used to make it, huh?
Thanks, but no. Spicy foods don't agree with me.
You mean you don't eat salami?
No.
Not ever?
Not really. I better get on it.
Like never?
Just kidding. I'm crazy about salami. I died for salami. I love salami.
Yeah, and I love you too. You're a funny guy. Hey, don't I know you? You on TV?
Oh, I've just got one of those faces.
I never forget a face, you know. Yeah, it'll come to me. Funny guy.
So he's gonna remember me at some point. Let's ask him about the golf club and the salami, and then Chico about
Do you
himself.
like golf?
Nah, I could never handle the clubs. Every swing, smack, right into the ground. Nothing beats a baseball bat.
Really? Well, it's never too late to learn. Let me present the Stobbart patented extendable golf club.
Oh, extendable. It could be useful. Of course, if you're talking portable, it's gotta be the knife every time.
Knife?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. My mistake. That's a nice club. Very nice.
You have a very wide selection of salamis.
That's because Mama Martino, she make a lot of different salami. This one here is made out of boar.
Was the boar wild?
Well, he wasn't too keen on the idea.
It's an old gag, but always a good one, huh? What makes a Martino salami so special, then?
The finest and the freshest ingredients. And, of course, the secret recipe.
So, what salami would you recommend for me?
I knew it the minute you walked in the door, sir. The Martino vintage. The me plus ultra of the salami world.
Nice Latin, I'm impressed.
You see, the Martino vintage utilizes only the tenderest meat. Hung and bled for 3 whole days whilst being constantly beaten.
No, really? What do you beat it with?
Baseball bats. Anyway. when
Oh,
the
he's
meat's ready,
feeding people
the
to him.
boss himself grinds it up. From one batch, we can make 50 salamis. Each one goes to a different store as a one-off special. This is my only 28-year vintage, and it's going cheap.
Wow. To think that salami's been around for 28 years.
Ha! Are you crazy? 28's the age of the meat when it goes into the salami.
Oh, I see.
So they killed a 28-year-old and turned him into a salami. Gross.
So how long have you been working here?
As long as I can remember. This place has been in the family for a long time.
Oh, so your relatives own it?
No. The family. The family.
Oh, I see, of course, the family. This guy's crazy. What's he talking about?
He's talking about the mob.
So, why are you working here in the salami shop?
Well, first and foremost, I love salami. And second most, if I wasn't here, how could I demonstrate my love of salami to so many people?
Now, there's a sentiment you normally hear more often after dark down by the docks.
I don't feel like we're really getting anywhere here, but let's keep going.
You look like a guy who's lived a little. Why not take a holiday? See the world. Retire.
Mister, you don't retire from Mama Martino's. Mama Martino's retires you.
Well, I'm glad to be done with that because I really wasn't going anywhere. Let's see if we can grab that. Let's see if we can walk back behind this.
Whoa, buddy. Do you need your ears cleaning?
Oh, sorry. It's those salamis. They're making me lose my mind.
Well, you find it and stay out from behind here.
Alright, so unless I'm supposed to give him the Italian cigarettes.
I don't suppose you know what make of cigarette this is.
I sure do. Those are Heavenly Breeze, the finest Italian cigarettes you can buy.
Interesting branding.
My favorite. Very hard to get in this country, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I guessed that.
One drag from one of those babies, and you feel like you're up there with the angels. Ah, yes, sir. What do you want for the bag?
Give me a salami, I guess.
Right. If I give you this pack of cigarettes, you have to give me the vintage salami.
Vintage for some cigarettes? Yeah. It's an interesting offer. And it's a done deal. There you go. One Martino's classic vintage salami.
Thank you. And here's your pack of Italian cigarettes. I bet you're just itching for one of those death sticks right now, huh?
You better believe it. But if I leave here and get found out, there'll be hell to pay. I'll have to wait until no one's around. Nice doing business with you.
Chico's got what he wants. Now all I have to do is hide, watch, and wait.
So let's come over here and hide. No crouching or anything like that, so
Without a full protective suit, I won't be touching those cans.
like how long do I have to hide, or do I have to find this place to hide? Like hide over here. No, there must be something. Did he go in the back for a second there? Oh yeah. So let's go grab the bloody smock. He's out this way.
Wearing the apron, I'd be able to move freely about the building. And there's no time like the present.
I didn't even think of that. That made no sense. It didn't even occur to me that that's what I was trying to do. I thought I was just getting the smock for some just unknown reason. And I guess technically was an unknown reason to me. Can't go in that way. I'll just have to walk in the other way, I guess.
The shutter isn't opening. It must be locked.
So you constantly have this slight problem with games like this, where you can very easily, that is a nicely animated pig, very easily just not have a clue what
Hi
you're
there,
supposed to
I'm
do.
George.
What do I care? You ain't nothing to me.
Charming.
Yeah, well, I ain't here for the small talk. What do you want?
Let's just ask him about Chico and ask him about the meatpacking company.
So where is the famous Mama Martino? When do I get to meet her?
Are you crazy? Mama's been gone these past 50 years. God rest her soul.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. So, who runs this place now?
The boss, Fingers Martino. Didn't they tell you in the interview?
Well, I was just too excited at the time.
That explains a lot.
And then ask about Chico.
You know Chico in the trade shop? What's he like?
Time we let the old goat go, his memory's shot to pieces. Don't say that to him, though. He's got a temper on him bigger than the bulls.
But he seems so harmless.
Yeah, that's what the last helper said. Then he asked Chico to share a cigarette, and bam!
Bam.
Bam! A month later, we got a can of dog food returned with the guy's tie in it. Only joking, kid.
Great gag.
So the key point of that sentence was the cigarette. Very subtle hint. Here we've got a pig with a spot on its back, which is a little odd to be a perfectly monotone colored pig and have just something on its back. There we could also see the pig popped out of the animation before it should have, because we're at 1080p. So here's how you know the game wasn't designed for 1080p, is that if at a lower resolution, those would have disappeared behind the wall here, the edge of the screen. But because we're at 1080p, a higher resolution, more of the screen is shown than they ever intended. Same is true for why it pops back in. It's not untypical for rendering video graphics engines to work this way. It's just they got good enough at them to make it so nobody would notice that extreme. Something that extreme. Although pop-in is still noticeable, even today in some games. Or sometimes what they'll do is they'll animate things at lower textures until you're looking directly at them, and then they'll animate them at higher textures, which is a little more difficult to notice if you're not paying attention. And we're in a big room with a bunch of crates, but I have high hopes here that we're not going to end up doing a crate puzzle, and that we're not going to end up just finding hallways that go nowhere and doors that are locked. Let's see, what's this? What did I just pick up? Fireproof blanket.
Fireproof blanket. May come in handy. And see, I could try to walk
seems like I can walk there. We can try this, and we can't go in these. Let's try this. We're still running into doors that are locked, but
Locked.
it's not.
Strange noises. A slap. A scream. The sound of sticks being broken. Hang on. That sounds like a blowtorch. I don't think this is the room I want right now.
Wow. See, this just looks like an empty square. But it goes over here. And we've got a meat grinder. And there's no listening to the door to see if there's sounds. But I may be hearing some sounds. Besides... Alright.
Strange. My favorite aria coming through the walls. But where from?
And that's as good of a place as any to end it. Let's go ahead and make a new save. How have we been going, by the way? They've put the saves in a backwards order, so the oldest saves are there, and you can just delete them by clicking that. That's nice. 3 hours of gameplay. I feel like we should have been a little bit further in the game at 3 hours, honestly. There were some frustration points, definitely. It feels like we've possibly spent 40 minutes, maybe even an hour, of just being frustrated. Hopefully we won't run into any more of that, and the game will get better and more obvious and more helpful. It's definitely not throwing out a lot of hits, and it's being very subtle with the hints, which... as this game was 2006, that's kind of the last time. It's the last generation of games where you can make a game that's incredibly convoluted and designed to waste a lot of the player's time. We started to see more and more games come out after that point, and as gamers had more options, the idea of a game wasting a lot of time became less and less appealing. Of course, Skyrim is the ultimate example of a game that does waste the player's time for hundreds of hours, and that came out much later than this game, but games like this certainly became fewer and far between. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.